some push-ups and get it. We got a lot of folks here from a bunch of different companies, and they all want to introduce themselves. So let's kick it in the thicket.
Sounds good. Hey everyone. My name is George Portillo. I'm the founder and CEO of Changes.com, and our mission is to make blockchain and AI accessible for everyone. And that's why our platform offers no code, create your own AI powered by ChatGPT, and no code NFT drops. So if you look at the link on the screen right now, you can see that I created an AI for Coachella. We're actually going to be putting it everywhere at Coachella. So check it out, and you could have your own. You can sign up at chainfuse.com/onboard. That's an exclusive link. I made that open so that you can try it out. So you guys are the first ones to hear it here. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Wait, where are you, dude? You're what?
I'm in Coachella right now.
Right now, literally? That's great. Dude, you have
We
your
created
wallet secured, right?
AIs for the Dream Hotels, and yeah, we are working with them right now to power their experience.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. That's crazy. Let's hear from the other folks. Who else is here?
Shall I do it?
I
Sure.
can't join for some reason.
Try again. There you go.
So I think I lost you guys there for a sec. But yeah, I don't know where I cut off.
I can only say a reminder for some reason on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Same. I actually thought.
Yeah, I cannot join the actual space.
Why is that? It's open. Should be open.
Yeah, Pulsar's actually broadcasting already.
What's the issue?
I cannot join from the Twitter account.
You should be able to join the space that Landslide's hosting.
Where's that posted again?
Yeah, it says that you're not actually live. Like there's not this like purple circle around the landslide
That's
picture.
weird because it says recording.
I know it's weird. Like I'm here, like I can see myself and you talking and all that, but for some reason I cannot just join.
Should I just restart this thing? Why don't I restart it on Twitter?
That'd be great, yeah.
Yeah.
No for some reason, like Pulsar's already streaming it.
Should I join Pulsar's instead?
Maybe.
Or is he going to join ours?
Pulsar's not. Yeah, it is broadcasting, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Twitter's just rugging. That's all.
Right again, man.
Yeah, just right again.
It's Dogecoin now. It's not even Twitter anymore.
That's right.
How are we doing? Are we good?
We're good. We're just not quite broadcasting on Twitter. Twitter Spaces.
It's really bizarre because like Pulsar is actually streaming the conversation with all our pictures in here. Which is even more bizarre because Pulsar is the one that's not here.
Maybe that's their plan, just to stream the whole thing. And yeah, we've been attending.
They know something we don't, man.
Can you join the space I started?
Still same.
Weird.
Oh god damn it! Was I?
So you can't join it on Twitter.
No, because it basically says that you're not broadcasting. Like
Yeah,
you're
it
not
doesn't even
live.
show to me anymore.
All right, let me try some other.
No,
things.
it's never showed to me like at all.
No, I mean the actual.
Yeah, the live streaming, yeah.
No. But I mean, right now it doesn't even show that it's gonna be there. It's not even there at all for me. Mm, Maybe
It's
because
so
it's being
because
reset.
we actually are broadcasting. Like I can see from Pulsar and I can see now from Landslide as well.
So weird.
Yay, tech.
How about that? You see that?
Yes.
So on the landslide,
Yes.
yeah, I see. Start listening. Let's do it.
All right.
I think you need to give a speaker probably.
Well, no, it's only going to come from my audio, so I'm feeding the entire audio here right through Twitter.
Oh, awesome. So
Yeah,
let's
we're
do
good.
that.
All right. All right, we're good. So the audio should be going into Twitter Spaces now. So we have Revival of Avalanche and Sparqnet and Landslide here. We're good.
We are. We're just waiting
Yep.
for Luis.
Let's not wait for him. Let's keep going. Because
I think so. Yeah, it would be better. He'll be joining in like a minute.
oh, okay, good. Fine by me. Up to you guys.
We can get
Right,
it kicked
so
off
maybe
actually.
All right. Why don't we get back in this lawnmower and kick this into high gear?
awesome. So I guess I'll introduce myself just to kick things off. So my name is Aurimas Barauskas. I'm a CEO of Revival of Avalanche, and I would like to introduce you to it. So it is an action fighting game. Our project combines the excitement and gameplay of good old traditional fighting games like Tekken and Mortal Kombat, a bit of Smash Bros, but also has a blockchain layer to it, and we will be using some of Spark's infrastructure. But a little bit about the project. The concept of ROA was born about 2 years ago, and we started building the game itself about a year ago. Right now, we are on open alpha testing stage. So if you would like to check it out, you can download it on our website, which is revivalofavalanche.io/download. That's it.
We're gonna put that link up.
Sure.
Just put it in our private chat and I'll put it up. Yeah, and then let's see that video a little later so people can see it. This is just for Luis. Luis, I know you're on Twitter. Please join us in Restream so we can see your lovely face and we can hear your voice.
Are we also missing George?
I'm right here.
Oh,
I'm
there
right
you
here,
go.
Key. Yep, I'm right here.
Awesome. So we're just missing Alvaro and Luis. But yeah, basically, I think we can get started. Like George, would you like to give a quick introduction and uh, who you are, what you're doing within Chain Fuse, basically?
Can't quite hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Now we can.
Oh, now I can. Okay, perfect. Hey, everyone. My name is George. I'm the CEO and accessible for everyone.
So you're making what accessible?
guys
Your
still
audio
hear
cut
me?
out. Yeah, there you go. You're making AI? What are you making? Great. Here we go. I'll let him in over here. Here's Luis.
How's it going?
Hey,
Hey, Luis. Welcome to the
Luis.
Clown
Hey,
Car.
hey.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Hey there.
some technical difficulties, but
Yes.
here we are.
All right. Let's give that intro again, man, because you went out and you dove off a cliff. Cool. All right. Luis, he just jumped off. Can you give us something? Give us some substance here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm Luis, founder at Econ. We are enabling anyone to build an app without any technical capability. And we're using also the Sparq infrastructure. So we're deep into AI. We're based here in Silicon Valley, California, in Palo Alto, and yeah, that will be like the short one.
Awesome. Well, we're going to throw your URL up on the screen. Hey, George, welcome back.
Sorry about that, man. It's just really bad. I get disconnected, but I think I should be good now.
Great.
Sorry, it's like the third time I'm introducing myself, but yeah, we have a no-code platform. You can use it right now. Go to changefees.com/onboard, make your own AI, teach it context for your company, and on the back end, we summarize the conversation and we show it to you. I think that can be very helpful for a lot of teams.
Awesome. We'll sign up for Landslide. We just open sourced our Landslide core SDK, which is basically like a huge package we've been working on for about a year. So it's connecting the Cosmos to without Tendermint into Avalanche. So I'm totally gonna sign up right now.
Sweet, that's awesome. Well, should we kind of like continue introducing ourselves?
Yeah, please. But let's hear about your work. Let's dig into it, man.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So, ChangeFuse is it's a platform, right, that we built in the spirit of really making it easy for people to leverage complex technology. It's been about a year and a half. Well, yeah, a year and a half now in the making. And I was one of the first people at Google to build a Web3 product internally, and I actually presented it internally. But at the time there was, I think, still much friction.
They fired you
internally.
internally.
I guess Web3. Well, it didn't really go anywhere. But it's just, the directors were, I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. It made a lot of sense to me at the time, but it didn't really gain any traction internally. And I was like, well, I could either stay or I can just do this outside of Google. And I decided to do it outside of Google. And I worked very hard for a year and a half. We essentially built everything from the ground up. I didn't see any UI for about 8 months. And then now we actually started building the usable part of our platform, which is what I'm super excited about. It's there, man. Like, you can go and you can sign in. You can click on create AI. You can name your AI. You can generate an image, AI generated, by the way, for the AI. And you can also generate a prompt, like an AI generated prompt. You can also do that. I think the only thing you really need to type is the name if you were really, really lazy. And once you click on submit, it creates an AI for you. You can embed it in your website. You can use the chat bubble. You can also use our public library, a React library that we have that is public that you can use to embed it in your React applications. So, yeah, man, I think it's been a lot of work for the past year, but I'm very proud of what we have built. I mean, these guys at The Dream are using it, and I mean, that's super exciting for me because finally, like, I think there's a use case for this. So that excites me a lot.
All right, I signed up for an account. I'm streaming it live. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's streaming. You can do OBS also if you want. Absolutely. So I think that, like in relation to Sparqnet, I met Mike about a year ago, and we were talking about the future of blockchain, right? Like the future of this whole ecosystem. And I mean, it was one thing that was very clear to me, and him also, is that the future is multi-chain, and whoever makes it easy wins. And thereon, I heard about the vision for Sparq and their subnet mechanism, and I was like, I think this is something that we need, right? Like, while I can focus on building more UI, they can focus on enabling multi-chain, connections and handling all the kind of like the lower level type stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to work with Sparq and actually build something. I had this idea actually. I don't know what you guys think about it. You guys tell me. But do you see any use case in deploying your own blockchain? Like, let's say that you could decide the type of blockchain
Well,
that
you've
you
come to the
want,
right
right?
place, sir.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think
There you go. Yeah.
I'm gonna intervene a little bit here, just as as the one person representing Spark at the moment. I think it would be great to like give a quick introduction what we're doing, what we're building here, and yeah, I completely agree with George. There's a lot of room for improvement in how blockchain development in general works, and that's what we're trying to tackle a little bit from Spark. We're trying to give developers all the tools and all the freedom that they kind of want to get and they need to get in order to be able to deploy the applications that they want to build, and not deploying applications, like working around how blockchain nowadays allows you to work. So there's a lot of friction between building a game and then being able to actually being implementing this game on chain, and that's probably one of the biggest parts that we're working on Spark, really. Um, we really have developers in our scoping here. We want to give them as much freedom as they want, and nowadays, blockchain development and especially Solidity development is not really giving you the freedom and the tools that you really need to be able to build these applications. So we do have in mind this at Spark a lot. We want to empower developers to be able to be free to develop the games just how they envision them, instead of how the blockchain allows you to work.
Right on. And talk a little bit about what that means for the people on the call.
That means, well, that means a lot. I think basically we got a couple topics that I would like to talk about with our partners. In terms of what we're building in here in Spark, we're really focused on scalability and customization, and like being able to express what you want to build. And as I said just before, like at the moment, the tools that you can find on blockchain, and especially in Solidity, are not allowing you to be free. They are making it really hard in terms of how expensive it gets and how complicated it gets to be able to integrate your games and your applications into Solidity. And you need to be very wary about all of these limitations, and you need to tailor your applications to how these limitations are working for you, instead of being able to create a game or create an application and being able to just deploy the way it is without having to think on scalability issues, on how many people are using at the moment, or how expensive is it going to be to interact with these applications. And that's basically the main focus that we're having here. It's just giving developers all that freedom that they need, and giving that infrastructure that basically Web2 developers are not able to get in blockchain at these days.
Awesome. Can someone from ChainFuse talk to a little bit about what it was what it was like to work with Sparq?
Yeah, so I think so far, an integration that we've done with you guys is really not blockchain yet. So we've been busy building our AI mechanism, because I think it ties really well into the whole Web3 thing. I think AI is part of Web3. So, but the first integration, well, it's not really integration. I scraped your documentation site, and I built you an AI that can probably write code for you also. Like if you ever develop your own JavaScript library, right? And you just put it on there. Like this thing will be able to help your developers write like an integration end to end with your technology. So that's the first thing, kind of like step that we're taking towards solidifying what we have going on.
Well, if you want, I could share screen. I completed my AI setup for Landslide. I can show people what's up. Here it is.
Sure, yeah, that would be cool.
So here it is. So it looks. You guys can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this is the GPT interface. What about this makes this my own? I haven't quite I fed in only some pieces of information from our website. So I guess next steps is to just sort of embed it on the site. Lost you there. Bueller. Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Loud and clear.
George, you still here?
Oh, he's down here. Okay.
Time I get a notification, it kicks me out of the stream for some reason. So it's very annoying. So I just turned him off. I hope that works.
There we go. We can hear you now, George. What's
Okay.
So I set it up.
Okay. Perfect.
This looks like
said-
a basic GPT sort of embed, right? But people can ask it anything, really, right?
That's right. It's really not an embed. I just made it look that way because I guess that's what people are kind of growing with. Like just to pay attention as to, like even the background colors for like the chat itself are modeled after ChatGPT, but we're gonna make it look different. But yeah, you can essentially teach it really any context, and it will talk about it. It's using ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo, which is I think kind of like the highest tier that you can use for now if you're using the ChatGPT API. I'm not sure if anyone has access to ChatGPT 4, but if you do, I would love to get my hands on it. If you if you have access,
live. It's already live. I can get you my API key if you want to try it. Yeah, it's live.
Oh yeah, man, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
it's live.
That would really improve a lot. Thanks for offering your API key. Man. That's nice of you. Thanks. But yeah, it's a ChatGPT underneath, and eventually we want to integrate it with like multiple AI models, right? Like we want you to choose it from a drop down actually. And do you want an AI that is more tailored towards documentation and code, or do you want an AI that is more conversational and just kind of just use it to close deals and sales for you? I think that there's a new era coming for really everybody, man. I think you're gonna start seeing a lot of these large companies push for conversational experiences because they're just so much better than talking to a human in many aspects, right? Like
Oh yeah.
you got to wait a long time. Sometimes they take you on an infinite loop of like, oh, you talk to this person, I'll talk to this person. So I think that's coming. I think hospitality services are definitely going to change. And yeah, man, I'm personally I'm excited for it, but I'm also like really incentivizing people to have conversations about like the impact of this thing and what are we gonna do when like shit hits the fan, like once like everybody's using it and people are really actually losing jobs, and they're not losing jobs because they're being replaced. Some of them will lose jobs because some of them are being augmented with AI. Maybe a teacher is using AI to give a better lecture, right? But at the same time, like how much more efficiency do you give to that teacher? And does that mean that you're not gonna have to hire as many teachers anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like there's there's a good side of it, right? Better learning. more entertaining for kids. All right, and the other side is like, well, I'm so efficient that like you need just one of me now.
Well, I mean, do you guys want to take a side road down AI, because it will be a rabbit hole.
I could also talk. I definitely talk about more about like how that's like tied to the blockchain too, because uh, so we're essentially gonna make it so that when you talk to these AIs, they give you like, okay, well, this is the NFT drop for X project. My friend actually got it to execute. My friend Egby, he's building a metaverse. It's called Versus dot XYZ, I think. But he essentially got AI to execute blockchain transactions. So he can actually send you tokens from anywhere using AI. So it's really interesting for me just to kind of like merge both. But absolutely, like we should talk more about blockchain stuff.
Yeah, we can drop the AI a little later. I suspect it'll get crazy, and I want
Sounds
to
good.
give you guys in crypto land enough of airtime. Sparqnet. What else
Absolutely.
do you want? What else you want to talk about? Where do you want
Well,
where
we
do you want
we
to
had
go?
a couple topics that we wanted to talk about today. It's I would say it's topics that I think are important to everyone. Things like scalability, where are we going, how are we customizing so developers have the freedom that they need to be able to build what they want to build and know what they can build. At the moment, we want to talk about this. Cross-chain communication that we're going to be opening up with the Spark network and our gateway, and how that's going to impact projects in the future, and people that are going to be able to work with us and open up their applications to basically anyone and from anywhere in the crypto space. So I think the first question from me for all our guests is, how would this scalability, how does Sparqnet align with your project, and where do you see scaling with Sparqnet? Like, just so you a quick kind of introduction on this, we have been building a C++ based interconnecting network of blockchains. We are really focused on building app chains, or well, subnets actually, for developers, and how this is gonna allow developers to actually tailor what they're building to their needs and not to how blockchain works.
For sure. I think that the first thing that came to my mind is probably law, document validity. Like I think a law firm is a perfect example of somebody deploying a subnet for keeping records or keeping really any type of transaction, right? Like whether you sent a document or you signed a document, right? Like I think that enabling that at scale for development teams using Spark is one thing that I really want to do and explore with you guys. And we were mostly on the front end side, right? So we don't have any connectors to C++, but I would love to know more about what you guys have going on and if you're developing any libraries that we could potentially use.
Yeah, so the focus that Sparknet has is basically enabling anyone to use any language that they're comfortable with. Our focus to what we're building, it's a language agnostic kind of focus, and it's not only C++. C++ is basically the language that we're using to build our platform, because Solidity as a language in itself, it's very limiting in what you can do with it. So we're kind of opening up the doors on what you can build with what languages you feel comfortable with. We're starting with C++, and we're intending to integrate C Sharp for Unity game developers, just
Yeah,
like
that's what I want to come at as well.
Arimas in here. We got
Yeah,
C++ for Unreal Engine gamers. We got the plans for basically integrating any
Sharp
language
for
that's
Unity. Yeah.
important nowadays
Yeah,
in
I guess
crypto
I can
development.
expand on that a little bit. Just to recap a little bit about the game, our focus was always to make a game. It's a great challenge as well. I've been roasted a little bit on Reddit, but I think the times will be changing. Um, that to cater the game to actual traditional gamers, and we want to make our game so that you don't need to install any wallets. Basically, it's really easy to come and play. No sort of MetaMasks or anything like that from the beginning. Only when the game, when you want to get into more complex things. So for us is C# transpiler, which is gonna be a reality one day, and also subnets. So one thing that subnets, it just makes it easier for us to onboard regular gamers into crypto, um, because only your token is the token for the gas fees, let's say. So if you want to have that nice, um, I don't know, like a nice transformation of a traditional gamer into crypto, at least having them understand what token and your token alone, is one step easier than just have, let's say, you have AVAX for gas fees, then you have your own token. So that's a little bit harder, but then when you have your own subnet, makes it easier. And that's one thing that we want to leverage from Sparq. As I said, C# transpiler probably would be nice to play around, and for just in general for regular traditional developers as well, makes sense to definitely would because they have huge libraries like C# and stuff for Unity. So with the security and everything, those languages are more robust. And I even written for myself, from our developer. He made really some nice huge words for C#. But basically, yeah, we are very excited about C# transpiler, and which is going to be brought to you by none other than Sparq.
Yes, so
It's just so
that's
interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, you go, George. It's all good.
I was just gonna kind of piggyback right on one on the utilities for games. I think I'm very passionate about that, man. I want to play your game, and I actually want to own my collectible, and then I want to wear it in the metaverse. Right. That's a use case right there. Like, how would you build that? I'm curious from kind of like your area, right? Your field of expertise. If you wanted to do that, like, what's required from the technical side of things to be able to
Hmm. I
shed some
think you
light.
would never be able to sort of okay. So, for example, we have if you are familiar with Kalau, the Citadel metaverse that they have. So we got like our one of our characters running around there, Cleo, Cleopatra. Then we're gonna have all the others. So if someone owes the asset, the NFT, then they will be able to access the character. But to actually transform, transfer the whole thing somehow. For example, even ourselves, we build on Unity, and they are on Unreal Engine. So it's like different textures. The whole thing, it took us a while to rework the character and just to put it in their metaverse. So I think like I don't see how we can have it like completely streamlined, if you know what I mean, unless the NFT somehow has all the settings, all the the actual files of the
Right.
3D asset and
So
everything.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah, this just my thoughts.
Gotcha. That's. I think that, like, just thought a comment, and please explain more. Like, if an NFT is uploaded, technically it's attached onto a source, right? It's on IPFS, or if it's
Yeah,
not a true NFT, it's on a cloud service, right? So,
yeah.
um, are the game files in Unreal, like, are they different from how what's it called? Unity uses them? Is it like do they use the same? Is it a GLB
Yeah, I
file, or
think
what
the
kind of format?
shaders, if you would just have Unity file to Unreal or vice versa, I think the shaders differ, things like that. It took our developers quite a bit of time to rework. There was other things as well, like different bones and rigging systems and stuff like that. But yeah,
Totally.
they did at least for shaders. I think if I'm not mistaken, yeah, they use different
Gotcha. So it seems that like a way to make it work is so you mint your NFT, right, on a subnet, right? You mint your token, right?
Mhm.
Your collectible, right? And then you essentially create and upload these sources onto an immutable source, right? You just upload it, and then you essentially link those sources to the NFT hash, and then it doesn't matter now where you connect your game or you connect your wallet. As long as you connect your wallet, then you can prove that you have that NFT, and all you have to do is fetch the database for loading whatever assets are like attached onto that character. If it's from Unreal, then it's gonna use a different shading, etc. Right? Like those are different files,
Yeah,
but they're all mapped.
yeah,
So
something like that would work. I think. Yeah.
it's like I want it, man. Like I think it can come fast enough. It's something that like I think that proving that you own something or that you're part of something on the internet is something that like people haven't been able to do until this whole crypto revolution happened.
Mm. Yeah, so even for example, in our project, we want to create that ultimate fighting metaverse where we have our first 8 characters, or maybe we're gonna have more, which are like ancient people and stuff like that, which Nathan found really weird, and I guess it is weird. Um, I hope that's a compliment.
Totally.
And then we want to have a bunch of established NFT projects. Let's say if you are an owner of board apes or something like that, and you have that NFT, you would connect to our game, and you would have that character inside the game. Obviously, we would be the one designing the, how it's going to look inside the game, all the combos, everything like that. But and that's again, that's where Sparq. We can use Sparq's infrastructure, because it's going to allow us to let's say, obviously, if I'm not mistaken, the board apes are on ETH, Ethereum, right? So to somehow connect it to our game, I think it's again the Solidity transpiler, which is going to help. And yeah, and you just if Jose, am I right?
Yeah, 100% actually. Yeah. So
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the things
and
that we're building here at Sparqnet, it's what we have been calling basically our gateway. Our
mhm,
gateway, it's gonna be acting essentially the same way that a bridge would work. So what we are enabling by building in our network is opening up all of these connections to all of these different protocols and all of these different blockchains. And as long as we integrate them into our network, people from that external network are going to be able to interact with your application and with your NFT. So this is something that we really think it's going to be key for the future blockchain. Like at the moment, there's a lot of like very isolated blockchains, and all of them are doing their own thing. But uh, at some point, you need to connect all of these individual parts, and that's one of the main focuses that we have at Spark. We need to open up all of these connections, and we need to allow developers to be able to communicate with different blockchains and different protocols, and not really having to be thinking about, oh my god, my technology is not really fitting in here, or this blockchain I haven't deployed in here as well. It is basically just giving freedom to developers that at this moment it's kind of a little bit hard to achieve.
yep, yep. So we're definitely gonna leverage that.
You mentioned something earlier about bridging. Can you go through what assets are going to be bridged with Sparq?
Yes, so Spark, one of the main things that we're building is this gateway that I just mentioned. And what this is going to be enabling is a communication layers between all of the protocols and all of the blockchains that we're going to be integrating in the near future. we want to integrate basically any blockchain that you can think of. We're going to be starting on any EVM based blockchains, and we're going to be expanding that network into Raspberry blockchains, MoveVM based blockchains, and what this is going to enable is people sitting with their funds in an isolated chain, let's say Ethereum, to put an example, that's going to allow them to interact with your application that's sitting on the Spark network, and basically mint an NFT that you have, or allow you to freely move your NFTs and your tokens through this interconnected network by basically like a regular bridge would work. It would be basically burning on the origin chain and then minting the same asset on the destination chain, and open up this communication between all of these completely separate blockchains. And what it would basically be creating a network where everyone can interact with everyone, no matter what you're building, what your game logic is, what your game engine is. We're basically enabling you to just communicate with everyone like if it was the same programming and the same language and the same blockchain. There's no limitations to communication and to bridging assets and NFTs between all of the moving parts within the ecosystem.
So that's a pretty big goal. How are you guys going to secure the bridge? Like, what type of bridge are you running?
So we securing the bridge basically by validating it. So the bridge is not just a bridge; it's a blockchain in itself, and it's got the validators from this whole blockchain are the ones actually securing all of these transactions. So just so it's easier to understand, this gateway is acting as a central authority from all of these moving blockchains that we have within the ecosystem, and it's the one that's going to be securing the what assets are basically in what chain. And if you have assets that are not actually recognized by the gateway, by the meta network in itself, they are going to be seen as malicious. So the security is coming from the actual network of validators in itself.
So, I'm not quite sure that answers the question. I'm trying to figure out like what saying a bridge is a blockchain is not entirely descriptive. I'm trying to understand like what the mechanism of the bridge mechanic actually is. Like so for instance, at Landslide, we use IBC, right? We're not building a bridge at all. We're just connecting the light client.
What's the light client?
So light client is, so the way the IBC works is that there's a target chain. Like if you're sitting on Osmosis and you're sending Osmo to another chain, right? There's light in Cosmos in general, there are light clients on all of the zones. So all of them can communicate. So we're just building one of the IBC light clients for Avalanche. So anyone who wants to send assets on
Gotcha.
IBC can do that through Landslide. So that's why.
Yes.
That's super cool, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically the way that the Spark network works in itself, it's by controlling everything that should be in every blockchain. So if you have, let's say you have an excess on one of the chains that is the gateway in itself does not recognize as an asset that should be there, uh, that's the way that you're avoiding basically the exploiting of it. So every moving part within the ecosystem, they're gonna have validators that are connecting them to the gateway in itself. So there's gonna be communication between all of the independent parts within the network and the network in itself, and all of these moving parts are gonna be recognizing what's supposed to be where. So if all the network validators are detecting an asset that a network is saying that should be here, but then all the other set of validators are not agreeing with the fact that these assets belong here, then that's how basically the network is going to be identifying the malicious intent in these kind of transactions.
So who operates the network?
All of the validators. So
Right. So how do the validators determine what is a valid asset? By the way, I don't know if you guys want to go into this or not. Like maybe it's explained in the docs. I'm just not quite understanding it.
Yeah, it is. This is like a highly technical question for myself as a BD rep.
Okay, so maybe this
basically,
isn't your side. Maybe this is from Michael. Someone.
Oh,
Maybe.
far from it. Yeah, this is actually from like Itamar kind of thing. This is
Okay,
our CTO kind of thing. Yeah.
understood. Well, we can pivot from that. Then we don't have to focus there. We can continue somewhere else. I'm just curious, like as someone from the IBC side, like the important part is IBC is a bridge that's never been hacked, right? It's the only open source bridge. Wormhole's been hacked. Layer 0 has not been hacked, and neither has Axelar. But those Layer 0 and Axelar provide wrapped assets, right? So you can't operate the stack, the VM, like the entire software stack. You can't operate that without if you're going to wrap assets, right? So Osmosis can't be inside of Avalanche unless it has its VM and its software stack. And so that's kind of the piece that we're providing just for Cosmos-based assets. So when you say like there's a bridge and it's operated by a network of validators, that's great. I just, we have to get very specific about what that actually means because it's very broad.
Yeah, it works in a very similar way to how Layer 0 it's working. It's just basically doing the same thing, but in a more decentralized way. So that's why the network of validators within the networks it's important. It's because they are securing all of these transactions and they're making sure that all the assets that are being claimed in one chain or another are actually supposed to be there.
Understood. I think we lost somebody. Armas, do you wanna add anything? Luis, do you guys want to add something?
To the specifics of inner workings of Sparq, not really.
Okay.
I have a question about what you just mentioned. How do you keep track of like the assets? Do you essentially, like, let's say that you're tracking assets on Ethereum, right? You essentially attach kind of like a listener to that NFT, and every time that it's transferred, it I don't know, like does it log into your system, and then if it gets transferred somewhere where it shouldn't be transferred to, that's when you flag it? Like, how would somebody be malicious, for example? And like,
Great question. Let's
know.
ask the GPT model that you built for me. Here we go. Here you go. It was the first thing I asked. How does IBC work, right? So IBC is a protocol that enables communication and transfer of data between different blockchain networks. So it can send tokens or messages, right? Without the need of intermediaries, centralized exchanges. So each participating blockchain network maintains its own state and consensus mechanism, but they communicate through like a set of relayers. So when a user wants to transfer tokens from one data chain to another, they initiate an IBC transfer on their home chain. The transaction is relayed through a series of intermediate relayers. These are called IBC relayers until it reaches its destination chain. Right? Once the transaction is confirmed on the destination chain, recipient can access the transferred data or asset.
Does it use gas?
Yeah, that's
No, it's not. No, actually, it's a great question. IBC relayers, but does it use gas? No, IBC relayers right now are like subsidized. They're basically free. But here, yes, IBC can use gas or fees depending on the specific implementation.
Super cool.
So for us, for when you the reason we chose IBC is because it's the bridge that's produced the most. It's processed the most amount of volume, and it's open source and it's never been hacked.
Yeah, it's a very similar approach to what Sparq is building at the moment. So that's what I mean basically by all these independent blockchains are connected to the gateway. So the way that a bridging transaction will work, it's the origin chain communicates with the gateway that they want to initiate a transaction, and then the gateway is going to validate this transaction. It's going to burn or lock these tokens in the origin, and then it's going to communicate with the destination and either mint them on that side or release them, depending on if you have a mint and burn of a lock and release. And the gateway is basically acting as a middleman, just making sure that neither the origin nor the destination are out of consensus, basically.
Got it. And where are you guys where is Sparq in terms of its incentivized testnet, or where's mainnet?
So in terms of testnet, we have just announced the first stage of our testnet, which is going to be the deployable C++ blockchains. These are going to be templates, and it's a really easy to use C++ blockchain template where you can basically just come to our GitHub repository, you fork the file, you fork the repo where we're holding this, and you are able to just basically change the parameters that you want to change within the blockchain and just create the blockchain in the server by running an executable. It's like basically like installing a game in your computer, and that does the same process basically. With you install the blockchain by just like running a file, and it does the whole work for you once you change the parameters in it.
Great. All right. Well, we're coming up on the hour here. Do you guys want to share any final thoughts?
I have written for myself like a closing thought, and I actually done a poem on.
Yes, great.
So I guess I'll end with that. It was funny. I was giggling here alone. But yeah, so I guess generally speaking about the games or for Roa, I can't comment on everything, but well, Sparq subnets offers great scalability, especially again when you're thinking about 400K TPS. Scalability obviously ensures that Roa and other games can handle the demands of growing player base and evolving gaming in crypto and beyond. And as projects continue to develop and expand, subnets provide a necessary performance to scale. Also, adding the multi-language approach, development and seamless communication of Sparq subnets open up many opportunities for future developments within the gaming industry. Developers can create, innovate, and make engaging gaming experiences on the Avalanche blockchain, attracting more players to the platform and create a thriving gaming ecosystem. So I guess in conclusion, Roa and other games, I'm sure, will leverage Sparq subnets to address challenges, faced by a broader EVM ecosystem, leading to a more flexible and decentralized network. And yeah, this technology offers many benefits for various different projects, including games, more flexibility, multi-language support, and better communication between different EVM blockchains. So we'll definitely leverage that.
Awesome.
I would say from my side, what I envision as the first integration with Sparq is just like how you created your own AI. I want to have a flow for creating your own subnet, and imagine having drop downs as to what type you want. I don't know how many types there are, but them being on a drop down and deploying a subnet that works for you, completely no code, and in the end, you get an API documentation or even examples on how to integrate the subnet that you just deployed completely no code, and put it to work. Put it to work for your own next game, your bank, your anything like your in-game bank, right? And yeah, I think that that's the future that we want to enable and work together with Sparq with.
Wonderful.
Yeah, good stuff.
Any closing remarks? If not, any questions from our? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just trying to get Josie's attention.
Yeah, if
You
there are any
got it.
questions on Twitter, just raise a hand and we'll take them. All right, looks like we're good. All right, well, thanks so much for stopping by. Last piece is when you know, can people start signing up for testnet for Sparq?
So testnet is going to publicly start on the 19th of April, which is just 4 days away from now. And they can just basically start using our C++ app chain templates. We are going to be expanding from this. We're going to be integrating some different more languages, and we're working actually on our gateway as well, which will basically just allow for all of these app chains to communicate with each other. And it's all going to be coming out in the next couple quarters. We have our mind and our eyes on the end of Q3 for developing our mainnet and integrating all of these features that I've been talking about.
Great, awesome.
And it's going to be about the same time for the token probably, but we're really focused at the moment on the actual platform in itself and bringing our partners into the blockchain and just mainly raising awareness about what we're building.
Great. We'll be glad to have you back. Thanks so much for your time, everybody.
Thanks a lot for having me.
We'll see you on the next one later.
Thank you for
Yeah, later tonight is we're interviewing DAP OS, which is about bringing Web 2 UX into Web 3. All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot for your time, guys, tonight.